This kid's show hid something disturbing right under our noses for 4 seasons. Ron Stoppable was never just the clumsy sidekick. He was never normal. And the moment you see what the monkey power actually did to him, the entire series flips upside down and never goes back. What if everything you thought you knew about Ron was the cover story? Stay with me, because by the end of this, you're going to look at every single episode differently. You're going to see clues that were there the whole time, and you're going to ask yourself the same question the show never wanted you to ask. Why Ron? Let's start where the show wanted us to start. Kimpossible, the perfect hero, straight-A student, cheerleader, world-saving machine who makes the impossible look effortless. She's disciplined, she's focused, she's everything a hero is supposed to be. And then there's Ron, the guy who trips over his own feet, screams at monkeys, lives on nachos, and somehow survives every mission by pure accident. Or so we thought. The contrast was the joke. She's the star, he's the comic relief. That's the surface, but peel it back even a little and something feels off. Like the show is laughing too loud to cover up what it's really saying. Enter Monkey Fist, Lord Monty Fisk, the archaeologist who threw away everything, money, respect, humanity, because he became obsessed with monkeys. Not cute zoo monkeys, ancient, mystical, primal power. He spends years hunting 4 jade idols scattered across the world by some forgotten order. He genetically alters his own hands and feet so he can swing and climb like a primate. He knuckle walks, he hoots when he laughs, he beats his chest like a gorilla when he's angry. The man is turning into his obsession. And the idols? They're not just statues, they're keys to something the show calls mystical monkey power. Think about what that power actually is. It's not a gadget, it's not science. It's raw, ancient energy tied to the monkey spirit itself. It grants instinctive mastery of Tai Ching Pek Kwa, monkey kung fu, superhuman speed, superhuman strength, the ability to move like the wind and hit like a wrecking ball. But here's the part the show never spells out loud. This power has a price. It pulls you towards something primal, something that wants to strip away control, something that whispers, you don't need discipline anymore, you just need instinct. And then comes the transformation. Remember the episode where Kim gets bonded to that Monkey King amulet while fighting Monkey Fist? She starts changing. Fur, tail, mind slipping. The once perfect hero is losing herself to the monkey. Ron has to watch his best friend turn into something that isn't human anymore. The tone shifts so hard in that moment, you can feel the writers hesitate, like even they knew this doesn't belong in a Saturday morning cartoon. A kid turns into an animal, loses her mind, has to be saved before the change becomes permanent. That's body horror dressed up as comedy, and the show just moves on. But the seed is planted. Once you touch the monkey power, you risk becoming something else, something you can't come back from. Now here's where the story stops being funny and starts getting uncomfortable. In the very first episode they ever meet Monkey Fist Strikes, something happens that the show never explains properly. Ron and Rufus get blasted by the same jade idols, same mystical energy, same power that turned Monty Fisk into a monster. But instead of freaking out or running away, Ron adapts instantly. He starts fighting with moves he's never trained for. He holds his own. He even lands the kick that knocks Monkey Fist out cold. And the show plays it for laughs. Oh, look, Ron got lucky again. But stop. Pause right there. Why did the power respond to him so quickly? Why did it feel natural? Why didn't it try to twist him the way it twisted Monkey Fist? That's the question that refuses to leave me alone. Why Ron? Because here's the part they buried. Ron doesn't just get the power once and forget it. It keeps showing up. In exchange, he channels it consciously for the first time. Blue aura, glowing skin, the whole thing. And he reshapes the lotus blade like it's nothing. In Big Bother, in the time travel episodes, against Fukushima at the ninja school, it's always there when he needs it most. And every single time, he uses it better than the guy who spent his entire life chasing it. Monkey Fist trains for years, alters his body, sells his soul, and still gets beaten by the kid who eats nachos and calls himself Ron the Man. That doesn't feel random. That feels like the power chose him. and the show keeps dropping hints like it's daring you to notice. There's an actual prophecy. The golden banana, this mystical artifact with a monk and monkey spirit trapped inside, literally names Ron Stoppable as the one who will become the ultimate monkey master. The monkey ninjas recognize him as their leader on sight. He gets invited to the secret Yamanouchi ninja school because destiny links him to it. Master Sensei treats him like he's always belonged there. Even his own little sister Hana gets woven into the same mystical web as the monkey mystic weapon. Everything keeps circling back to Ron. So let's ask the question out loud now. What if Ron was never just exposed to the power by accident? What if the power was waiting for him? That's the theory. Ron Stoppable didn't stumble into mystical monkey power. He was aligned with it from the beginning. The goofy, scared of monkeys, Nako-obsessed sidekick was the perfect vessel all along, and the show spent 4 seasons hiding it in plain sight. Think about who Ron actually is when you strip away the jokes. He's chaos, pure instinct. He doesn't plan, he doesn't overthink, he feels the moment and moves. He's loyal to a fault, but he's also the guy who will do the dumbest, most unpredictable thing because it feels right in his gut. That's primate energy. That's the monkey spirit in human form. Kim is all discipline and control, the exact opposite of what the power wants. She fights it when she touches the amulet. She resists. But Ron, he flows with it. The power doesn't have to fight him. It just wakes up. That's why he can do what Monkey Fist never could. Monkey Fist wanted to dominate the monkey inside him. Ron never tried to dominate anything. He just let it out when it mattered. And every time he did, the power got stronger. By the series finale, Graduation Part 2, Ron doesn't just use the power, he becomes it. Blue aura blazing, full ultimate monkey master form, no fear left. He grabs 2 alien invaders who just took over the planet, hurls them half a mile through the air, and crashes them into their own spaceship, alone, while Kim is captured. The sidekick ends the entire series by doing what the hero couldn't. And the show plays it like, oh, Ron had a good day. But come on, that's not a good day. That's a destiny finally revealing itself. Now here's the psychological layer that makes this theory feel genuinely dark. The monkey isn't just an animal in this show. It's the symbol of everything we try to bury in ourselves. The primal, the uncontrollable, the part that doesn't care about rules or popularity or being normal. Ron's entire personality is built around that. He's the kid who never quite fits in, who gets bullied, who fails at everything on purpose because trying would mean facing how much power he actually has. His clumsiness, his fear of monkeys, his constant self-sabotage. What if those weren't weaknesses? What if they were the cage he built to keep the monkey locked up? Because the moment the cage opens, he stops being funny. He stops being safe. He becomes something ancient and unstoppable. And that's terrifying in a kid's show. The hero isn't the disciplined one. The real power belongs to the chaotic one who was never meant to be tamed. The show spent years convincing us Ron was the weak link, when he was the loaded gun the whole time. Let's flip everything we just said for a second, because this is the midpoint twist that changes the rewatch forever. What if Kim wasn't the main character by accident? What if her entire purpose, the missions, the saves, the constant dragging Ron along, was to keep him in check? Think about it. Every time Ron starts to tap into something bigger, Kim is right there pulling him back to normal. Every time he gets close to embracing the power fully, she reminds him he's just the sidekick. The prophecy says he's the ultimate monkey master, but the show makes sure he only reaches that in the very last 5 minutes of the finale. Almost like someone or something was delaying it, like the universe needed Kim to balance the chaos until the very end. Suddenly, the dynamic flips. She's not protecting the world from villains, she's protecting the world from what Ron could become if he ever stopped holding back. And the darkest part? Ron let her. He played the fool because it was easier than facing what lived inside him. He chose to be underestimated. He chose to be the sidekick, because the alternative was becoming Monkey Fist 2.0 or worse. That's why the power never corrupted him the way it corrupted everyone else, because Ron was never fighting it. He was negotiating with it. His goofiness was the compromise. His fear of monkeys was the brake pedal. And the moment he finally took his foot off the brake in the finale, game over. The aliens didn't stand a chance. So when you go back and rewatch the series now, every single Ron fails again moment hits differently. Every time he trips and accidentally saves the day, every time he screams at a monkey and then somehow beats the monkey master, every time he says, "This is so not fair," right before doing something impossibly heroic. Those weren't jokes. Those were the power testing him, waiting for the day he'd finally stop running from it. Ron Stoppable was never comic relief. He was the hidden, strongest character in the entire show, the unexpected chosen one, the kid who carried ancient primal energy in his veins and spent 4 seasons pretending it wasn't there. And the scariest part? He chose to keep pretending because he knew what would happen if he ever stopped. Maybe Kim wasn't the only hero all along. Maybe she was just the leash on something far older and far more dangerous. And maybe, just maybe, the real reason the show ended when it did is because if it had gone one more season, we would have seen what happens when the sidekick finally decides he doesn't need to be normal anymore. The monkey was always inside him. The power didn't choose Ron. Ron was always the power's true home. And once you see that, you can't unsee it. The goofball wasn't the joke. He was the warning.